So now, I just bought this electronics kit. Inside we should have a 74HC595. That's an integrated circuit. It's a shift register. And we have here a 4N35. It's an integrated circuit again. It's basically a transistor, except for inside it uses light to determine how well it conducts. But you wire it similar to a transistor. So again, those are things you can look at in more detail if you're interested in them. But in any case, we got some resistors here. They should be, the most common values, and so on. So, plenty of resistors to do simple projects. Although this is only 10 ohms. Although you may not have the exact value that you want, but you can use a close value or something, or figure out how to substitute one if need be. So we got jumper wires right there. So it's wires if it's this flexible wire inside a stranded wire, and then they attach the connectors. And then we have these DuPont connectors. So I think that's what everybody calls them. But when you hear DuPont connectors, they're talking about something like this right there. So it's a ribbon right there. It's wired as a ribbon. You can peel these apart, grab however many you need, the colors that you want, get rid of the other wires, and so on. And then we got, a number of capacitors right there. And we got, it looks like either very low values or, somewhat higher, like over microfarad, it looks like. Again, you can get the exact values, when you buy them. So the sticker right there, that is the active buzzer. And then we got the passive buzzer without a sticker. Also, the passive buzzer does not have epoxy filled in, whereas the active buzzer does. But the active buzzer, you can just put, I believe, down to like 3 volts up to about 5 volts. I don't know the maximum minimum. I've never seen like a data sheet for them or anything. But the sellers, I think, usually say 5 volts. You just put 5 volts DC across it, it beeps. Whereas the passive buzzer, you don't even want to keep a voltage across it. Put it in series with the capacitor, alternate the voltage, and then it clicks if you go slow enough, but buzzes if you go fast enough. And there again is our integrated circuit right there. And then we have a trim pot. I believe it's a 10,000 ohm trim pot. Yeah, it says 103, so that's 10,000. 10 with a few zeros after it. I can see the diodes in there. So this is they kind of threw in a bunch of different, we got transistor there. Should be a PN2222. And so I didn't look at them yet, but whether they're PN2222 or 2N2222, they work the same either way. So that's kind of why I suspect maybe they just threw in 2N2222. And then we got push button switches. So I found a couple push button switches, but I believe I had 10. This is what this kit has, I believe. And I couldn't find any for a little while. I almost just bought push button switches. And that's one reason why I bought this. I only got like 2. And so I want some more that I can keep elsewhere from where I keep them. So yeah, I think that was all the components. Okay, we got a photo, not a photodiode. A light dependent resistor. There's photodiodes. That's another type of component as well. So it looks like we got one light dependent resistor. Again, when you're buying these, they tell you what is in there, and so I think we saw everything briefly that is in those 2 containers, and we got LEDs right there. So pretty much all you can make tons of interesting circuits just with those components. The majority of my videos, I have PNP bipolar junction transistors as well, but most of my circuits that use transistors use NPN, so you can make quite a bit there. And then we have the jumper cables. So it's cables if it's a solid piece of metal right there. Jumper cable, it's jumper wire if you can't see the strands, but there's stranded wire in there so that it's flexible right there. If you keep bending these, they're going to get weak really quick and break, whereas the stranded, you can bend them for a long time. They just have connectors at the end with a solid pin, which these are just solid wire all the way through. and so you don't really want to bend them much. And I think this kind of feels like it's taped. Maybe it isn't. But any case, it's pretty solidly shut, which is good. I've dropped these before, they fell open, and they scattered everywhere. It's a real pain. And it looks like the colors are not the same length as the colors I've been using before. So we'll see how I end up using them on the breadboard. And then we got header pins right there. Again, pins, and if you push on them, I think they'll slide a little bit, but some of them are this long on both sides, and then some of them are long on one side, short on the other. We got the ones that are long on one side and short on the other right there. A whole bunch of them. And you can just, I think you can break these with your finger, but I find it best to just take a pair of pliers. There is a snip in here. If you get the snip in the right spot, you may be able to cut them off. But I just like to grab, like if I want two, I grab the second one and just, you know, kind of wiggle it just a little bit. Maybe you can just do it in one snap or whatever, not too complicated. And I use these when I don't use a breadboard power supply. I was not expecting the breadboard power supply to be plugged in. So we got a USB to a USB. You can plug one end into a power supply and then plug the other end into the USB plug right here. And then as long as that power supply doesn't turn off because the current is too low, which is a problem with many of them, if you're trying to do this setup, it will power the breadboard right there. And so yeah, this is in the board. Oh, it looks like it's in the board the right way. That's kind of interesting. So because you got negative on the right there, and then positive on the left, which you see there. So I did not think that would be the case, because this is down at, this is at the top, but it's upside down from my other ones. So yeah, if I plug it in this way, when it's upright, now the negative is where positive is, and positive is where negative is, which I've actually done before on my other breadboards, but by accidentally putting it on the bottom like that. But now this is actually the right way to do this. So that's kind of interesting. I have not run across that before. I'm not sure if these center ones, because these center ones, they snap on, and so you could snap other things next to it. There's all kinds of ways to make these. But once they put the glue on there, I mean, you got to pull it apart to, change it. But any case, that's kind of interesting. It has to be that way. So for this one, maybe I'll leave it on. Oh, and then these header pins. What I do is I will plug these into, and I'm kind of wiggling them just because there's little clips in there for gripping, and you don't want to bend the clips. So just kind of keep wiggling it so it separates the clips, so that you can make a connection. And then I can, since this is to the blue side right there, clip the alligator clip to the negative side of the power supply. And then I can use a, I don't know if I'll have one that'll be the perfect length right there, that is like blue or black. But in any case, you can just take a jumper cable, if it will fit right, or make a wire, a solid wire, that can jump from one to the other. Then you got negative there and negative there, or you can just use the one of these wires right there, jumper wires from one to the other, if you really want to, but it'll be really long and kind of in the way. But again, when you're making prototype circuits, it doesn't have to look great or anything. You just need the circuit to work for your practice. So we got that, and that should be everything right there. We got that in the this kit right there. This was $15, I believe, and I believe that's what I paid, and I believe it's on sale now. I don't think it was on sale when I got it. I just looked at the price. But in any case, it was saying $14 when I just looked at it, but normal price $15, and I believe I paid $15, which was okay, So this is not actually what I would start off with myself. It's okay for starting off if it looks good to you, but I would buy something with even more stuff and pay more money. But if you really want to go to like $15, I think this was pretty much the best buy you could get for about $15. But there's all kinds of similar, you know, packages, electronic kits and stuff. So it's you really got to look at all the ones that are available. And again, I got it through Amazon. I don't know of a better place to get them. That's just my opinion. But in any case, I'll include links down below. I'm an Amazon affiliate, so if you make a purchase after clicking one of my links to Amazon, I'll probably get a small commission at no extra price to you. So I really like when people use that. It's not telling me what people are buying anymore. It used to. I don't know if that's a glitch or something, because I used to be able to kind of see if like a bunch of people bought this kit, then I would make a whole bunch of videos using this kit, and you know, just so they will have the same components, the same value components and everything that I'm using in my videos. But you know, nobody did that in the past. I've showed other kits, so I don't plan to do that. But again, if I did notice a whole bunch of people bought this kit, these are the parts I would use so that they have the same parts. Oh yeah, the power supply right here is, as I said before, you can use that USB cable to, I didn't plug that in yet. So with this one, again, I wiggle it up and down. You know, once I get them lined up, I'm not quite lined up yet. Wiggle them up and down so that it goes with the clips. The clips are running up and down. The ridge runs up and down. And so yeah, you don't want to cram it in. This is a fairly tight fit, so I'm not going to spend all day doing this on video. But yeah, make sure it slides in easy. Don't just cram it in. So I'll work on that a little bit later. It will go in. I just don't want to damage anything. These clips kind of slide, you know, out of whack a little bit, and you kind of got to insert a component to line them up better, and that's when you're in the most danger of bending the clip out of shape. So there we go. I think this is okay time now to just snap her in right there. And for the breadboard power supply right there, when you're not doing that USB to USB, which a lot of people actually are interested in doing. I didn't realize so many people wanted to do it that way. This is just a barrel jack. It's 9 volts. You plug it into the wall. 9 volts work. 12 volts should work well, but I had a faulty unit that was producing a little more than 12 volts, and it was frying these. So I personally just recommend 9 volts. You put it in, and it puts 5 volts to the rail if you got it to the 5 volt slot. It does 3.3 volts if you put it to the 3.3 volt slot, or 0 volts if you center it. It won't apply power. I think the ground is still connected, but then the positive supply is just not giving any power if you put it to 0. But generally, I think most people just work with 5. Oh, this is in the 3.3 spot. Okay, but yeah, you just got to move that jumper like that in order to change it. If you want to turn it off, you set it there. Never put the jumper over there. The ones on the right are always connected to ground. The 4, it's all the same ground everywhere. But these bottom 2 on the left are 3.3 volts. So that would be a short circuit if you just closed it. And that's one way you might fry this. You short circuit it. And then we got a 5 volts for the 2 pins up there. Something to be aware of. So that is a, it won't work with the male-to-male jumper wires, so I'll just yank this off. Yeah, we got this here, and yeah, you can, you know, use this color for ground if you want, and then you just plug that in there, and then wherever you plug the male in, plug the female up there. Again, since the clips are working left to right, I should go wiggle it left to right, right there, to help prevent damage. I shouldn't have been doing it up and down. And there we go. But again, as long as you don't cram it in, probably be alright. So that will give 3.3 volts to that row right there, those 5 pins. Or if you want, or no, that's ground. That's 0 volts I meant, to those 5. If you want 3.3, you jump it over 1 to the left. Or if you want 5, you go up there, depending on what you want to move over. Or you can move that to a different breadboard somewhere else. As I said before, we got this connector there, and maybe you just want to apply the power there. It'll also apply over here, and then you could put it to negative right there. It should transfer like that. And again, I got to work my way up and down. I don't know if this is just kind of tight because it's a new board, or if they're off a little bit. You can always look closely at it. But there we go. Finally got it in. I think it's just grabbing good because it's new, which is actually a good thing. They'll loosen up a little bit better. Things will be easier to slide in later on, but they'll make better connections the entire time. So, in any case, this went on a lot longer than I thought it would, but, you know, don't just buy a kit, you know, without thinking about it. Make sure you look at it, compare it to other kits, see which one gives you the most stuff for the least amount of value. When you buy just a whole bunch of even like random components, you're only getting one. This is an LED that you can change different colors depending. There's either a ground or a common positive side, and then you connect the other, usually it's the positive, to one of 3 pins, and then you got a lone pin that's ground, and then you can light 3 LEDs based on how much voltage you give each pin, and so on, or actually how much current you set, because it doesn't limit current. You need like at least 3 resistors. But any case, I didn't notice that one. That's in there as well. Bunch of LEDs, and then this is that's the light dependent resistor. That's what it is. But I needed switches, and those aren't the that's not the speaker that came with it. So maybe they changed the kit over time. We had the active and the passive buzzer. That's a buzzer, not a speaker. But yeah, I needed some more switches really, and so I just figured I'd get this kit.